come to the McCree Theater before the last performance and enjoy the show. It's so energetic.
Come join us at the new McCree Theater.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay. We are here. We are here. And you know what? I know it's Clutching Our Pearls After Dark. Thank you all for tuning in. We are doing late night after dark with the Pearl Clutchers. And we want everybody to like, share, and subscribe because we've got some updates for you all tonight. Let me see who I see. I see Jamaica, Stephanie, Carol, Liz. Everybody's here?
Everybody's here.
Yeah. Okay, and you know what? Before we get in, let me just say, hey, Jamaica.
Hello.
Thanks. Look, thank you for joining us. Thank you for clutching your pearls with us tonight.
Thank you all for having me. It is an honor. Y'all don't know how long I've been waiting to get on this show.
Well, welcome.
Y'all may never get rid of me now.
I see. Okay.
Right.
Well, you can help us clutch because we got some clutching moments we need to talk about.
God.
I know look, it's been so much going on in the city, you guys, and really let me start with Jamaica. Let me just start by in case nobody, in case we need to do an introduction to you, Jamaica. We shouldn't, but just in case, it's interesting because we were looking at what's been going on in the city, and we had talked about we should have Jamaica come on here because Jamaica, you were the chief recovery officer when we were in office.
Yes.
And one of the things that we talked about back then was we weren't going to be in crisis forever, and we were going to go from crisis to recovery. And some people called you a recovery officer. Other places said it was a resiliency officer, but it was what will Flint look like when we get through this mess?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking to see. I see, hey, Tanya Burns. I see her up in there.
Right. Look, I want to do the chat, but I don't want to lose
how you doing? I know it. Okay, let me keep going. What would it look like? And when we look around and we see everything that's going on, from gun violence to blight to unbalanced budgets to water issues. What, you want to clutch them already? I see Carol is holding her head. That's right. It's a whole lot of stuff going on. It's a whole lot of stuff going on. And so we want to talk about that. I do want to hear, what you think when you see what's going on today with what's happened. Last week, you all remember we acknowledged some pearl clutchers last week. We acknowledged who were they? Pastor Threlkill, Jerry Winfrey Carter, Michael Clack, Tanya Burns.
Yeah.
And if you all missed that, Landon, put that link in there so they can go back and watch that because that was a good show. It was a good show. And if you didn't see why they were acknowledged, you need to go back and watch it and see why they were acknowledged last week for being some of those outstanding pearl clutchers.
And we got some honorable mentions that you're going to bring up today, right? At some point, right?
Well, you can. Well, I don't know. I was going to say, I would have said Billy Dantzler was an honorable mention. Those people that have stood up for us. Billy Dantzler. I think Beverly Lewis, she was an honorable mention for what
stood her
she
ground,
did.
didn't she? 10 toes
stood
down.
her ground.
Yes, she did.
Right.
That's right.
I think Beverly Biggs and Clara McClinton, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
Those two ladies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. We have
being able to endure.
We still have
And
one or two sprinkles of one or two soldiers sprinkled throughout our community. So
we got one or two soldiers sprinkled.
Yes, we do. And we definitely want to acknowledge them because it's not
Yeah.
easy, standing up for what's right all the time. And sometimes standing up for what's right means you're standing alone. Sad to
Mm-hmm.
say, but
I
It
think we
is,
need.
but
I
it's
think we
sad but
also
true.
need to add Jasmine McKinney to that too, because
Mm-hmm.
Jasmine, that last council meeting, she has had enough. She's
Yep,
sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Mm-hmm.
that's
And she
right.
let
and,
it
and
be
if
Mhm.
known.
and if we're gonna talk about faithful to city council, we gotta Kawanda Mack, we gotta mention her because
Kawana
baby,
Mack,
they've
That's
been
right.
following
right.
her around,
That's right.
threatening to arrest her, threatening to whoop her. Let me tell you something, she's Flintstone resilient.
She
And
sure is.
the, and
Well,
Little Taylor Sampson will be she lets them have it every opportunity she gets.
She does.
Every
In
Okay.
and
person,
that's what we need.
online.
It's frustrating though,
And
honestly, as somebody who has, worked at City Hall, fought for residents, did the work, who's had the opportunity to still live in the city but work outside of the city and see what happens in other communities and how other communities move and get things done for people, but watching just constant chaos at home, and even being in rooms where unfortunately Flynn is the butt of the joke because of what's happening at home. I mean, it's frustrating. It's
Very
frustrating.
frustrating.
Yeah,
It
and it's
is.
embarrassing. I mean, it's
I was
Mayor.
gonna say it's embarrassing.
I've called you a many days
Right.
talking about, like just things that just watching things and having to explain to other folks what's happening at home because they're watching the TikToks and the internet and even mainstream media and just getting the chaotic picture of
Mhm.
what's happening at home.
And the mainstream media is so horrible with how they portray. Um, I guess we should say what the good for. Um, and the slant is just ridiculous. I hate it's just disheartening. And then I look at some of the things that are going on, and I you can't make this stuff up. It's just you cannot make this stuff up. It's ridiculous. I have never um even the girl down there in what was that, Harvey, or no, in Dalton, Illinois, the stuff she has shenanigans. I don't even know what to call these. These aren't even shenanigans. These are adventures that they're on. I don't know. It's just crazy.
And
Well,
fantasy to have a headline that says the population has increased and we're talking about 96 people.
Girl,
Well, you know,
if there's
well,
any
this
way
is
to spin anything, if there's any way to spin anything, child, he got his hand. He gonna try. He gonna try to spin it.
well,
but that's why we're
And
here, because we can't let them spin. We're here to bring some accurate information to the people because that's what the people deserve to know. And
Absolutely.
speaking of that, I don't know how many of you heard about this, but tomorrow tomorrow. There's an update tomorrow with attorneys from Washington about where we are with the lead service line replacement and what is going on in the city of Flint around our water. People need to show up tomorrow at 6 o'clock. It will be at Christ Fellowship. Had you all heard about this?
No,
no,
see what I
absolutely
mean?
not.
And you
Can we,
know what's the saddest thing
And
about all of this water crisis situation? And I
mhm.
need to send that footage to Landon. It was the last vote that Quincy Murphy made before he departed,
We're going to
and
talk
it
about
was
that. We got it, Carol.
okay, good. Because I
We got it.
definitely
Go ahead.
and another point that I want to bring out is, and I'm not going to quit beating this dead horse. And it's not just because she's my friend, because like I told her many a days, if me and her fall out today, which I don't think we will, I will never disrespect the sincere work that was done on my behalf as a Flint resident. I saw my mayor Mayor Karen Weaver, and Jamaica was on her team. I saw her constantly attacked, recalled, drugged relentlessly, disrespected. Folks talked under her clothes and everything else from A to Z. Okay. And they had no evidence that this woman had broken any laws, yet she was accused of some of everything. In all these things people called her, they never showed you viable hardcore proof. It was always what you heard from somebody and all this crap. Now here we have a mayor and a local government that openly, okay, breaks the law on video, live stream at will, whenever they get ready to, violate the residents' constitutional rights, allow children to die in fires, do cover-ups, have city council people turn their backs when these children's mother is crying her eyes out for losing not one child, but two children that could have been saved if somebody would have just done their job. And accountability is always escaped when when the residents are getting murdered, violated, and all this stuff. We can never investigate anything or get anything done. Councilwoman Burns has an active, threatened person who threatens her actively every day. They can't track this person. They sing gospel together and everything. They can't catch this person. But Jedediah Brown pushed that casket, and the police showed up. They can get him in. They can put him in court right quick. Try to throw it. They throw him in jail. Absamundo super duper fast. But yet we've heard no recalls on Nilly. We don't see you ever going after
They're not,
your
Carol.
leadership now.
They are not doing recalls. They said they weren't going to do any recalls. So
See, this is what I mean.
And that's the problem.
This is what, and the people, but the people supported the nonsense too. That's why I'm bringing it up. But now you can't hear a peep from them. Like I said, they were asking Councilwoman Winfrey Carter and Councilwoman Burns, where's their water crisis money? Ask your mayor, ask your governor, ask Trishelle Young. She was one of the attorneys all there. She got a new office open.
Well, you know what?
Road. How many of y'all have been over to her office?
Exactly. And that's why I want to make sure people go to this event tomorrow, you guys, at Christ Fellowship at 6:00. We need to be there. We need to have our ears on and listen to what they're going to try to tell us. In fact, there was an article that came out. Do you have that article where the whoever is over the EPA said that, oh, you know, Flint, we ought to be celebrating. There is great news coming. Have you all seen that? Right. In fact, Landon, you have that video. Can we show? Okay. Yeah. What's his name? Do you have the video, Landon? Because I want them. There's a 2-minute video where they tell us to rest assured we're in great hands. Things are good. And this is why we need to come out.
And I got the video.
Yeah, we have it.
If I go out, I can't get that. You know how
No, Landon has the video.
Oh, great.
It's just a quick 2-minute video that we want you guys to see. And tell us what you think.
I'll keep going. Give me 1 second.
I have a question about that. Has anybody heard any like community listening sessions? Has anybody talked to the residents to see? Because I remember one thing very distinctly that we talked about, and that was Flint wasn't recovered until residents felt recovered. Until the residents felt recovered. Mayor, you remember you say that all of the time, and so I'm trying to figure out at what point did a conversation happen with residents, and residents said, you know, we're over this water crisis. Not we're tired of it. Not we're tired of living through it, but we really feel like our water is safe, and that our that everything that we feel needs to happen has happened, and now we're on the other side. And so that's what I'm wondering. Like, when did that happen?
Clutch your pearls. Clutch. Is that what's supposed to happen?
Jamaica, that would mean that they can't. That would mean that somebody is concerned about what the residents think and cares what the residents feel. Girl, we don't have that around here. You are told how to feel, and you are told you're told what's important to you, and given what information that they deem is important to you. I saw a news. I saw someone on the news today,
Mhm.
and I just turned the TV off because it was just ridiculous.
Oh, here's the video.
EPA has been working closely with our state and local partners in Flint, Michigan for several years to restore safe drinking water. It's been a long, arduous journey, but significant progress has been made over the last decade to revitalize their water infrastructure and ultimately achieve this goal. That is why I am proud to announce that as of today, EPA will be lifting its 2016 emergency order on drinking water in Flint. Water sampling shows that Flint's water system is now in compliance with lead standards, which is a major milestone accomplished. Their water system has been continuously tested below lead action levels since July 2016, and the city has replaced over 97% of legacy lead pipes carrying water to homes. The end of this order returns the city of Flint to its regular ongoing obligation to comply with the requirements of the Safe Drinking Water Act and its regulations. While we celebrate what is the culmination of over a decade of hard work, our message to the residents of Flint, Michigan is simple. EPA will work with all other levels of government to do its part to ensure your community has safe drinking water for decades to come. We will continue to be a partner to provide technical assistance to the city and state as efforts continue to maintain and upgrade water infrastructure. On behalf of the Trump administration, congratulations to the amazing community residents and leaders of Flint, Michigan.
Yeah, congratulations to the Trumpsters.
Landon, where was
United-
all our sound
First of
effects?
all-
You were supposed to be
first-
clapping and everything.
First of all, let me go ahead and tear his ass apart, okay?
Hurry up, because
There's
we all
no
want
way.
to.
There's no way we can be out of the crisis because one, all of the lead service lines had to be replaced. They have not been replaced. Two, everybody does not have new water fixtures in their home. Three, we ain't out of this neck of the woods because we ain't got our money. I don't want to hear that. We ain't got our money. We haven't got our money. Look, until the residents are made whole, until the residents are pleased, and definitely nobody from the Trump administration is going to tell me my water is safe after he denied COVID was taking place and people was dropping dead in droves. They were stacking them up in semi trucks and he was running. He just like, I know, no wonder this administration has people that don't even live in the city, half of them in. Okay. Julie
Well, you know
Priestley,
what?
you got a lot of nerve. Start with Leon, Liddell, and Candace.
Wait, I don't know. Wait a minute. Let me just say thank you to 810 Flint for getting that video clip. That's where we got that from, because I don't know if people had seen that. And second of all, Carol, you're bringing up what Jamaica spoke about earlier as far as who has heard from the residents. We trust this. We feel safe. We are, in recovery mode. We are strong and resilient. And so I haven't heard anybody get there. The other thing is, we know what was said isn't true. First of all, it took over a decade, and we were 90% complete when I left office.
When you left, that's right.
So
and
for
he on
them
his second term.
Right, and they still haven't gotten it completed. I am not impressed.
He ain't
That is
working
not
on it.
impressive.
That
He
makes me
committing crime and stealing. He working on
that,
no service lines.
that video clip makes me sad because number one, I'm aware that we were over 90% of completion when you left office, Mayor, and that was in 2019. So what was happening all these years? That's number one.
Right.
ARPA fund funneling.
And that was pre-ARPA funds. ARPA funds were a result of the COVID.
Oh, they done got the water money too. They don't nobody mention that water crisis money. I'm sorry, Jamaica.
It just makes me sad because it's so misleading. It's so like condescending. It's just it's all of the things. It reminds me of the beginning of the water crisis when we were initially told that that we were mistaken, or that, you know, that our water was safe, or we were
that
over.
it met the standards. When I hear them say that again, it just I get, you know, flashbacks of where we were. But it goes back to something you had brought up earlier too, Carol, because one of the things we were talking about, and you all will hear Councilwoman Tanya Burns talk about this some more tomorrow. I know she's gonna talk about it some more. But what was going on? They want to lift that emergency ban, but we're not in compliance. We're not in compliance. Those projects for the infrastructure, they have not been completed. You know why they haven't been completed? Because we don't have the money to complete them. And you talked about that, Carol. There was and I don't know if we can get to that clip or not, Landon, where when Quincy Murphy was still living, Councilman Quincy Murphy came in and they were having the vote. There it is.
Almost dead coming in there. This is last
Coming
vote
in,
before
exactly.
as a council
So
person.
we are moving on to reconsiderations. What's the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Ms. Mashat.
we have what, 2 reconsiderations here?
We have a total of 3. Hold on. Yep, 3.
Oh, because one of them was, a couple of them were put before the consent agenda and another one was after?
Look on the back page. So let's see. So we have, so 2 on page 3 and 1 on page 4.
Oh, we have 4. Oh, no, I see where we are. 3. I got you. Thank you. I move to reconsider resolution 24144, 240227, and 240191.
Support.
All right, so there's a motion on the floor to reconsider 240144, 240227, as well as 240191, supported by the councilwoman in the 4th ward. All right, so being
Point of order.
did you just say point of order?
Yeah, are these being separate, or are we? in
No,
a
they're
block?
being all reconsidered as a block.
Reconsider right now.
Okay.
So what's it goes?
All right, so Madam Clerk, just for clarity purposes, we don't discuss during reconsideration, we vote, correct?
No.
No?
There's no discussion.
You said no?
Yep, just double checking.
Okay.
Request for information.
And what is your request?
Can we separate a reconsideration? Because there are 3, or do they have to be done in a bundle?
No, you can definitely separate them, but the councilwoman in the 7th
How you
ward did
gonna
in the
bundle
bundle.
some stuff that's
Okay,
being
so if this does
reconsidered?
it pass in the
How
bundle?
stupid can you
Yes.
be?
That's the underlay for the overplay.
Ooh, you got to be a goofball to fall for that for real.
All right, so hearing that you said that there is no discussion, we're going to go ahead
And
and
let's
call
not
for the
tell the
roll call
people-
vote. This is to reconsider resolutions
Translation.
240144, resolutions 240227, and resolutions
Let's slice the BS in on the
240191. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Alamin. Ms. Lewis.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Ms. Priestley.
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter.
No.
Ms. Burns.
No.
Ms. Mashat.
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer is absent. Mr. Jarrett.
No.
The vote is 5 yes, 4 no. I'm sorry, 5 yes, 3 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 3 no. Those reconsiderations passed. So now we're on to the consent agenda.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Ms. Priestley.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
All right, there's a motion on the floor to approve the consent agenda. Any support? Supported by the councilman in the 1st ward. Any separations?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Ms. Burns.
24144, administrative consent order. 240227 to be separated, the youth jobs. 240191. I hear somebody want to call for the question already as I'm separating.
See, there go my girl kicking in. See how they running that interference? We don't want the people to know what we voting on.
Those are to reconsider. I want
That's
to
what this
do
translates to.
separate.
Oh, Ms. Burns, so
Yes.
just for clarity, so after you said 240-227, what was the next one?
191.
191.
Okay.
240-324. 240-410. 240-427. And that's it for me. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, anyone else?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Ms. Winfrey Carter.
I would like to separate 240-235.
You said 420-435?
240-235.
Oh, 235. 8.1?
No, it's on page 5, the bottom of page 5. The public
All
hearing
right,
for
then, Ms. Winfrey Carter, Jerry
Billy
Winfrey,
Dab.
Councilwoman Jerry Winfrey
Okay.
Carter. Don't let them slide that messy in.
Any more? Ms. Winfrey Carter, are you finished?
I think that's it for me right now.
All right, sounds good. Mr. G.
Actually, I wanted to separate something else. And I'm having,
Which one is it, you know? I've got the numbers bookmarked.
hold up, I can look at it real quick.
Okay.
I think that's it. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Jarrett. Mr. Jarrett.
Thank you. I need to get clarity. 240-325.1. That was the Odyssey House. What did we need? Did we need to do anything with this, or does this drop?
We need to drop it.
Okay, well, let's separate that.
That was my.
240-402, the first responder mental health. 240-427, the first ward.
That's already separated.
Yeah.
Oh, they are, okay, yeah, I'm sorry, you did. Did we separate 240-429?
No.
Okay. Let's.
Can we speed this up?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I want to stop for a minute because did you hear them? Did you hear that vote? Did you all hear the vote?
Yeah, they said 5 and 3. That's
Mhm.
8. Dennis ain't there, so that's wrong.
Right.
Because you already missing
They
some
rounded
people.
up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they
And
pulled
so-
the old sham. Because you
Right, so
need
they
5
have-
votes to pass if they only have 4. Because you had Tanya vote no, Winfrey Carter voted no, Jared voted no. That only leave you 4 people. Pfeiffer wasn't even there. You got 4 people. You need 5 to pass it. So y'all
Well-
sat up there and passed that and didn't have your
But
proper
they
right
passed
amount of
something
votes.
and they passed something that wasn't true because it has not been completed. They've got 27 projects. I mean, they don't have the water stabilization plan. They haven't done anything with those water mains. We know they haven't finished changing the lead service lines. Do we even have a DPW? The list could go on and on. So we can't, I mean, how are we in compliance? And how can the EPA come out and give us this information? And it's the same thing they did before. The EPA knew that MDEQ was lying when they said everything was fine, and they were silent, and they helped get us into this water crisis. And now
guess
here they
what
go
else?
again.
And guess what else? Your government was involved in the first shenanigans, and they're involved in these shenanigans. That's why they're not picking these criminals up for any of these crimes that they're committing against the public, against a poor and Black community, because the federal government, your local government are all in participation. That's why they had to get rid of you, because you wasn't money hungry enough to sell us out. Okay?
But
Because you
And I
can't
will
give me
take
the
a bow
belief.
for that.
That's right.
but that goes
You
back
can
into what we were saying earlier is why it's so important, and we were made promises by the government that the community would be involved at every step of the way. And so what do we have now? A clip on YouTube or
see,
wherever
that's
that
to
clip
get you to
was
be
pulled
quiet. That's
from?
how they get you to pipe it down, and then they just fade it on out.
Well, they been did that. I ain't heard nobody too much talk about the water crisis since mayor haven't been in office. So they did the stop talking about it.
Okay, so when they stop talking about the water crisis, do that mean you gonna stop talking about dispersing that money to the residents and the true victims? See, that's what this is about, getting that money and taking control of the city. Okay? And like I told y'all, I'm gonna say it again. Your water gonna get fixed when they finish taking control of the city and they ran all of us out of here, the true victims. Then they'll disperse the little monies, and all these organizations that's been stealing from us, like these city council people are doing with their nonprofits. Then when they'll divvy the money up and we won't get anything. And another thing, why they calling off all them numbers and not wanting to be no discussion on something that's up for reconsideration? If it's up for reconsideration, that means it didn't sit well with the council, so it had to be tabled for whatever reason, maybe all the information, whatever the case may be. And then you gonna bring it back and don't offer no type of discussion. You want me to believe Leon Elamine knew what all them numbers was and what those things were that were up for reconsideration? Go on with your game. This is not
Listen.
about government.
Well, no, it's about what you said earlier. It's about what you said earlier. Hey, Landon, I can't see because, my computer isn't working. I was wondering what some of the comments are. I want to hear what some of the people watching have to say about this.
We need somebody that can read
I
that.
can't see that, Landon.
Can't nobody see that.
I see Flynn doesn't have the money to complete the projects for the administrative consent order. 5 rubber stampers approved the consent. Tanya Barnes said that. And then Bree Marie said, SMH, shaking my head.
Shake your head, honey.
Alphonse Weatherspoon said, wow.
I know.
Right.
Wow, it's sad. It's really sad. That's why you all come to Christ Fellowship tomorrow, 6:00. We need to be right in their faces when they tell us whatever it is they're gonna tell us. We need to hear it for ourselves, because all this stuff happens behind the scenes and under the covers and in the dark, and then we find out when they've made a decision.
And then they come out and tell the public, well, that was done back under the Weaver. I mean, that was done back so-and-so did that. Oh, Tanya Burns and them messed that up. And see, that's how they do it. Then these little simps around here with these simple minds, they get out, I ain't voting for her because I heard she did this. And the next thing in the word, them lies get led.
Well, before we go, because you're leading us into the next thing. Liz, Taylor, Stephanie, anybody else have anything to say about this? Because we're going to talk about this 3rd Ward election coming up too.
Well, I would comment that Davina has a responsibility when they vote to make sure that they're not rounding up. I mean, she has a responsibility. She has a position. I expect her to stand up to it. And since we're talking about the recount, it's just a scary administration right now.
Right. The recount is Thursday, everybody. It is Thursday at 9:00. The public can view it. Something that's going to be interesting about this recount is it has to be outside clerks. So the 3rd Ward has 5 precincts. So there will be 5 different clerks. It could be a clerk from Burton. It could be a clerk from Clio. It could be a clerk from Swartz Creek, from Grand Blanc, but it has to be 5 different clerks, not the city clerk overseeing
This is my question to you. Where has the ballots been all this time? Who didn't have possession of the ballots?
Good question. What's that process of securing ballots?
Hey, let me tell you something. they gonna have to get up early in the morning to lay down them shenanigans on me. I ain't trusting
Well, they
them.
getting up and
I'm not
starting at
trusting them
9
with.
o'clock, so you can watch this. The public can
No,
view.
my point is, ain't no need showing up at 9 o'clock if they didn't have their hands on the ballots all this time.
Well,
Because they
I
done
don't
made
know.
it. Who
I,
got the ballot?
I think the ballots are locked in
Yeah.
are supposed to be. So ballots are supposed to be locked in a lockbox.
Where at?
Chris says he has them.
Chris who?
You know what?
I believe that.
No,
Chris,
you
I
didn't.
trust
No, they
Chris
done got
Taylor, for
Chris.
the record. I trust you more than I trust them people down there in Fifth City Hall with them now.
Man, let me tell you something. If they know anybody in Flint got them ballots, they coming through with them ARPA funds and offering them Cracker Barrel dinners and cutting down their trees and getting them new roofs through DHS and all that. No, I need to know where them ballots at. If there's a
Well, you know
change,
what? What'd you say, Carol?
if it's any change in them numbers, I want to know where them ballots to be. I want to know where them being today.
Well, I can't wait to see this because that's Thursday morning. And we're going to see what happens. But you know what's really interesting is I think people are starting to see the manipulation that they're doing with the system. So we have this recount, there's public view. I'm sure there are going to be some observers that are going to be in there. In fact, I know that. But look at what the lengths that Judy Priestley will go to, that these council members that are trying to maintain power will go to. Does this look like recovery to you, Jamaica? But anyway, Judy Priestley, she filed something on AC Dumas saying that he doesn't live in the 3rd Ward where he's lived for almost 50 years. Now,
But she
AC
ain't
has
filed nothing on Leon,
and
who went and
AC,
filed 2 PPOs with his real address that ain't in the city of Flint against
His
Beverly
garbage
Biggs.
can. And his garbage can.
Yeah, she ain't filed nothing against him, though, but she running around worried
trying
about
to get
AC.
AC.
They some
Well, see, because they
thieves.
didn't expect AC and Beverly to come through. They expected one of them and LaShawn to come through. So they were going to be all right. But the lengths that they will go to get them, out of here, to intimidate. Now, we know AC has lived there forever. AC has run for public office before. This has never been questioned. And why didn't she do it in the primary if it was a concern? If you thought,
Because she was running around having her grandbaby knock on people's doors, talking about, here, mama, grandmama business cards. He got to be the city council woman. If you need anything, call her. She thought she was a shoe-in because they thought they were going to put that Asian persuasion down. And Davina finally strapped on, put her boots on the ground and didn't let Gloria touch them ballots. And they ended up with egg on their face. And LaShonda is at the house with a DHS roof and remodelization. Okay, enjoying all that niceness and then did get the job. That's what happened.
Mr.
Look,
Dumas
she might
said
not
the
get
new
us up
city
there.
what is,
clerk,
wait a minute.
Arletta Evans, over the election division. Is that who has the new deputy clerk for the city of Flint locked in a sealed lockbox? So the ballots are supposed to be
Secure.
You want to know what's funny? I didn't realize we had a new deputy clerk.
I didn't either.
It's a whole lot of
Nobody
stuff
knew.
because they aren't telling you anything.
And
They're
where
not
this
telling you
deputy clerk
anything.
come from? Who hired them? What was the selection process? Oh, Jesus Christ.
I don't, Carol, but hold on, wait a minute now. I don't know who this new chick is, but so far she sounds like she been standing on business. Now let's see if she keep it up. But
Somebody that heard something in, you knew
we had a new business. I didn't know
we had a new deputy clerk.
I didn't know we had a new nothing, but
why you know she's been standing on business.
I think
so far with this count and stuff she has been. And
yeah, because they didn't let Gloria in there. They did not let her.
She was the one stopped Gloria from getting up in there.
And she, Art was live streaming from down there.
And he'll be down there. He'll be down there.
He was live streaming, and she had stuff locked up. It wasn't ballots. It didn't look like stuff was floating around and stuff like that. And like I said, it looked like she was standing on business now. Because Gloria be somewhere hiding And then
and
she'll pop up at the 11th
slide
hour.
absentee ballots under the doorway. They'll be like, "Oh, we dropped one." Gloria be to slip 50 or 60 ballots under the doorway.
Mhm.
So Councilwoman Burns said that she's been doing a good job. Flynn had no errors this past election.
Well,
That's
what
what
I
I've
don't
heard
with your
too.
understand,
bad self. Go
what I
on
don't,
in.
And
what I
Tom
And
said
word
she's
on the
been there for a
street is,
while.
I'm sorry, I forgot. You can't say certain things because other people get that other people
Don't
say
nobody
it's
care.
trademark. But anyway, the word now, according to some people, they were saying too that we would have that Miss Evans be standing on business because we would have been had our results in at a timely fashion. But somebody had to have it counted 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times, recounted again,
Oh,
at
Yeah,
this
night.
'cause they
last
used to.
time,
but you know what the picture looks like. Here's a city employee who is the deputy clerk who has declared the votes, and her big boss, the mayor, wants a recount. Is
no,
he saying?
no,
The
that's
mayor is
LaShawn.
the mayor
LaShawn
isn't
wants
the
to.
boss over the clerks, though, right? Isn't council? Doesn't the clerks report to the council? Doesn't so? What's Davina? Davina's role reports to the council,
But
and the clerks report to Davina. Am I right or am I?
Well, that's never been clear
clerks
under this
report to
administration.
Davina.
Look, Jamaica, allegedly.
Well, I mean, you know what? But none of us are
So Mr. Dumas said this was the most secured election in decades,
right,
according to the state of Michigan.
and none of us are surprised. I mean,
I
if
know
you
he
lose an
did say that.
election, if you
I
lose
bet
an
he
election,
did.
if you lose an election by 3 votes, it's not a surprise to ask for a recount. I mean, most people would do
Right,
that anyway. So I don't fault her for that
right.
because that's so close. But I
Yeah.
want to go back to what they've done, how they're trying to get AC out because, his mom lived in the 7th ward. So she's trying to say he stays in the 7th ward. Everybody knows AC Dumas's mama has stayed over there for I don't know, 50, how many years? I don't know,
Listen,
60, a whole bunch of
we
years.
are
Well, wait a minute. Let me just say this. How is it? And I'm gonna put this on Judy. I didn't slept with a colored man, Judy. That
I'm getting off y'all show.
Everybody, let me
you can
say this.
have
I said
Judy
y'all
ain't
was gonna
special.
give
you
it a
can't
minute.
have
Y'all done
because
got
you're
me.
a black person, you can't have property. You can't have property. You gotta have only one house, and
Wait
you
a
can't.
minute,
Heaven forbid you own some more property
Stephanie.
somewhere else.
Stephanie, we're not even gonna put all that on Judy because we can take that to Liddell because if you remember when Liddell talked about having 2 locations, she said, "Don't get mad at me because I can afford 2 houses." Well, you're not the only person that can have 2 houses either.
Absolutely.
A
And
whole bunch
Judy,
of
didn't
folks can
Judy
have
just
2 houses.
didn't Judy
Look how
just
that
get her
drug
70
Tanya.
or $80,000 kitchen remodel? She thinks she the only one got a few dollars. That's 2 generations, him and his mama. And you think they can't accumulate 2 houses in 2 generations? But that's because black folk ain't never supposed to have nothing. But let me say this. And Stephanie, you quit talking about she done slept with a black man. So what? Everybody on this show done slept with a black man. That ain't nothing special. She ain't special because she done
Look,
had a black
Carol, I
man.
have you.
So what?
Carol, look,
So
allegedly,
what?
allegedly.
I don't care because she
I'm a
slept.
clutch.
What
I guess stop it. I got to clutch my pearls on that one. You know
said? No,
what?
who's trying to
Okay, so
made me cuss. She ain't
Breaking
special because she
news.
did. We
Breaking
been
news.
right.
Mr. Dumas says 70
We've been
years.
adoring the kings of the
All
earth.
right.
Okay, hey, they ain't no big whoop. So what, Judy? Don't
So
nobody
let me
care who
say
you slept
this.
with.
So,
A
but
college girl
Mr.
said he has
Tom,
some. What's
well,
wrong with him?
well,
let me say this for a minute.
look,
Listen,
time that's a conversation for cocktails offline, sir.
I want to say something because I want to talk about what these gangsters are doing too, because they're trying to get AC off the ballot this way, but they're doing
Yeah,
intimidation to Beverly.
strong arm.
They went and shot her car up. I don't know if it happened Friday night or Saturday morning, but they're trying to intimidate her into not staying on this ballot, to saying, you know what, Forget it. This is stuff you
They
see
shot
in
who,
movies,
Kyra?
like Beverly.
Beverly Biggs.
Yeah, Miss Beverly's car. Yeah, this
So they're
weekend.
scared of AC and Beverly. They're
They
scared of
are.
these two candidates
Well,
because they want to
wait a
do
minute.
anything.
No, hold on.
Wait a minute, let me finish. They want to do
Okay.
anything to maintain power and control. If it means I will lie on you, if it means I'll come by your house and shoot your stuff up, and nothing has happened. I mean, we've been asking for a safety plan. How long time you been asking for a public safety plan?
And
These are the kinds of
I
things that
campaigned
happen.
on that.
Like the
I
old folks
campaigned on
say,
that.
she been
And
flying
everything.
for that safety plan since surrender.
And then I campaigned on that, and everything I put on my flyer, Leon Elamine put on here. So Leon, where is your pressure on this police department to eradicate gang violence? But then again, ain't no telling who done shot up Bev car, because they ain't nothing but a bunch of thugs, them little city council people down there. And then the thing about it is the law is allowing it. Okay, let's be clear.
Listen, you don't know. We still remember all the damage and stuff they did to your signs, child. He might be responsible.
And he was on video. The man got him on video marching down the street, and that car that his little lady drive, she was parked over to the side across from Hasselbring. It was him, flat out. But I ain't gonna cry over no signs, because guess what? He made a fool out of himself because he's sitting up there with them vests on, them glasses on. He don't know nothing going on. He don't show up unless he think he finna get his little pockets laced. And you know, everything about what's going on with this local government is roguish, thuggish, okay? And they always act like, oh, it's the black people. No, it's the black people that the white people seeing, because those are Republicans. Those are no Democrats. Liddell voted against her community getting food subsidies from the church, okay? It don't get no more dogmatic than that. Those are rogues in political positions. I'm done.
Well, the sad thing is that the residents suffer
Right
when local government is chaotic like that,
and
can't trust what's happening.
yeah.
Can't trust folks to have your back, and people operate out of like retaliation and just those spirits of like claim that we're doing things to move the city forward, but everything is about retaliation and clicks and all of that. That is, it's sad and it's scary.
And very punitive, extremely punitive. And I'm still stuck on the fact that the new city clerk, or not city clerk, the new what is she, deputy clerk, has counted those ballots how many times? What's going to be the magic to a recount, even if there are just 3 apart?
Right, but I mean, who wouldn't have? I mean, she has that right. She has a right to ask for a recount.
I mean, just
we'll
keeping
just
it
watch
real.
them do it and come up with the same
Okay.
number.
And that's like a
Back to
recount.
this.
The right to a
Back
recount.
to this.
What does that do
Back-
to the community?
You know what?
It means we sit and wait for the recount.
Yeah.
I don't know if Beverly Biggs has done this or not, but she needs to file a lawsuit against the city of Flint, because the police department allowed, or the city council, Liddell and them, invited Quincy's family down there for that insurrection. They cornered Bev up and was finna attack her, and her daughter had to up that thing, okay, to get her mother out of there alive. We got it on film. The police department has not picked up charges. Now they've shot up her car. They've been slandering her. This is terrorism. Just like when Leon went to that lady's house with his weapon, drawn on these kids. One pissed his pants and one is getting therapy, and nothing's being done about it. And every judge that these things come before, when these people break the law, recuse themselves and don't want to address the issue. If you are a Flint judge, how do you not want to fight Flint crimes and sit on a bench and address Flint issues only because it's local government, when we have a rapid corruption issue? And this is how you know higher government is allowing it, because the FBI is not showing up. These are federal dollars being openly misappropriated. They went to Lapeer Pontiac, Detroit, everywhere else, picking up unethical government officials, yet they have not came to Flint with all this wide open corruption. They ain't even got to do an investigation. All you got to do is bring the paddy wagon around. Okay?
Well, it makes me think about what Jamaica was, when you were just saying this breakdown in local government, but it's at the state level, it's at the federal level, because we don't have anybody speaking up on our behalf in Lansing. You don't hear a
No,
state rep, you don't hear a
because she's
senator.
in on it. Because she
Right,
in on it. The state
they're
rep
all
in on
in on it. They're all in
it.
on it,
Yeah.
or somebody
And
would
she
be
can't
speaking
hardly
up.
make a sentence. She don't never show up for us. It's
You know what
ridiculous.
I always say, the enemy of progress is confusion. And I think in the last probably 5 years, we have been in perpetual confusion, and you can see it whenever something is brought to light. That's just like now. I'm just gonna tell you, I can almost guarantee you with like 85 or 90% certainty that because all of this stuff is coming up now, they're gonna come over here on the right, on the other, what people that are against the right thing are gonna come up with some kind of distraction or some kind of foolishness to try to distract the attention away from what's really happening. Just watch what I tell you. It's going to be some kind of scandal or something. You'll see. Just watch it. That's what they do around here, is I have heard that it has been said that people in high, that our leadership has said that we have a short attention span, and that if we have a short attention span, all he has to do is just create a distraction, and they'll forget about whatever is going on. So
Well,
just watch.
we haven't forgotten that he told us the water was fresh, that the water was good. I know I haven't forgotten it. We haven't forgotten that he told us he had a degree, and he did not.
Yeah, but nobody do anything about it? I mean, and then everybody.
Well, the people that should have done something about it aren't doing anything about it. Because what can we do? We've been yelling loud for a long time. It's the people that are in office.
Everybody keeps saying you need to do this or you need to do that, or you guys. I hear and I say, and please, when I say this, I'm not saying this to be negative. I'm saying this out of like a frustration type thing. I hear people that don't live here, and I'm not going to call them outsiders, because I think we do have some people that are truly vested in what's happening in Flint and have our best interest at heart. So I'm not going to call anybody an outsider that's coming here to try to or that's chiming in trying to support the right thing and us getting a better life for the city. But they say, I've heard people say things like, what can you you need to do this or you need to do that. Well, we need to, first of all, if you're going to try to hide, like, we need attorneys. And if attorneys aren't cheap, and nobody is trying to take this stuff on, and then you can't get a local attorney to do anything, because they're all either scared, bought and paid for, or they or if you find one that's willing to take the case, I hate to say it, but they're inept. So you have to try to get somebody, like, for instance, I know Tanya's had some success with her attorneys that she uses. That means $650 an hour, and he wants his money. And I just think that until we do need to put some of our petty differences and things aside and try to work together, because I think a lot of people, everybody wants to be an Indian. Nobody wants to everybody wants to be
the chief.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Everybody wants to be the chief. Nobody wants to be one of, and that's
The
probably
follower.
core thing. But
Right.
everybody wants to be the leader, and nobody wants to be the soldiers or the boots on the ground or the people that are there to push that narrative. And it's just disheartening, because you have people within your own community that are supposed to be here to help. And if I offend somebody, oh well, I'm just gonna say it. We have people within our own community that are our worst enemy and that have done more damage than anybody from the outside could have ever done.
Hey, Landon. Is Landon there?
Yep, I'm here.
Can you read some of you? I told you I can't see because I'm on my phone.
No, you're all good. Just going back up to the top, AC Dumas said, Deputy Clerk of Elections. Chris Caleb says this is going to be more than one recount. Watch. They're agreeing with Carol. Tom Padroni said, Councilman Draco.
That's right.
Tasha Lee, Draco Line Leon. Tanya Burns said, October 15, 2024, there was a conspiracy to incite a riot. Nobody had been arrested, with witnesses and video footage.
It should be sedition charges filed.
Yeah. Glenda Long said, God see them demons. Don't worry. God is watching and they will pay. Chris Caleb, Flynn is definitely confused and says that recount is definitely going to be that one. Tanya Burns says, sometimes those distractions can be in your own camp. Chris Caleb said, go set up a fund me. People are scared to put their name on that federal lawsuit. And lastly, Tanya Burns said, people's egos. It should be what's in the best interest of Flint.
Yes.
And we haven't had that. We have not had what is in the best interest of Flint. I mean, Tanya, are you going to Christ Fellowship tomorrow? I know I'm gonna march over there and see what they're talking about. What is that?
We got the flyer up for tomorrow.
Okay, that's the flyer. That's the first time I've seen it.
We can go back even further. Remember, and I don't know if Mr. Dumas is still watching, but I know he remembers this when that thing happened with the cars, the fleet of cars, and they weren't bid out properly, and all of that. So like we've been watching just corruption in front of our faces, and people we'll deal with that later. We'll deal with that after the election. We'll do, and
because
then
that's their people
get dealt with. And
that's
so
their people. They waiting for new people to get elected so they ain't got to deal with your issues. That's what they do. I'm noticing around here.
It's the residents that suffer, and we can't be about recovery if we're not about the residents. How does that work?
Right. Well, let's be clear here. Let's be clear here. This is not about the residents. This is about a certain group of people wanting control over,
by any means necessary, Carol.
Over poor people and Black people's property. They want poor people and Black people's money, which would be the ARPA funds and the water crisis funds. They want the community's wealth, and they're getting it. Money, federal dollars, and you guys know this, is distributed based off pupil population. And Flint has a large pupil population in this area. Next would probably be Detroit. You see what I'm saying? So they can't go take the bag from the people down in Detroit. They already got they people that shake things up and get there.
Gentrify Flint. They want to take.
So that's right. They want, and then you got to realize we're located dead smack in the center of the state. Okay. They want this land. They're tired of us. We're taking too long to get up out of here. Too many Black folks paid off their home. So they created the water crisis. And Sheldon Neely told y'all who created the water crisis. And I'm going to say this too, because we jumped subjects with Stephanie, because we were talking about our state rep. I'm going to say this. I think Donna Popular said it best. She said, how is Cynthia Neely going to be a state rep when she can't successfully run a 2-chair beauty salon? Okay. Look, this lady never shows up for us. She's taken money out of the city of Flint and sent it to Grand Rapids, blocking Pastor Thompson from getting of money to feed the community. Yet this is the city they pretend like they live in. This is the community Liddell pretends like she's representing. These people came to get money for their nonprofits, which they're doing. They need Dumas out the way. If they get Dumas out the way, they figure they could knock Bev off. They're going to intimidate Bev and try to give Bev a case. That's what they're working on for Bev, because they need Bev out of the race by August. So there'll be a lot going on with Bev, and they're going to constantly be after Bev because they want to put this other lady who sat outside of the form that Michael Clack was giving for the third ward candidates, sent her kids in there to invite people to her event, but wasn't woman enough to come in there and face the public and answer questions like an adult. Okay. So I think I'm praying that the votes still stay the way they are, because if you can't answer a few questions in front of 13 people, you're not fit to lead a whole ward. You don't have the mentality or the conversation to be the representation for any ward if you can't talk to them many people. Okay. And if you got to send your grandkids to the door and all this old mess.
Well, you know,
Ugh.
they're looking for another rubber stamp, and they know that AC won't be one, Beverly won't be one, and so they have to do whatever they can to get them out of the way, by illegal means, by threatening, by violence. It doesn't matter
So
to them
now the
because
two winners are under attack. One's car has been shot up, and we got Judy Priestley, the only white woman on the city council. I'm gonna do the Eric Mays. This nasty white woman coming for our brother, trying to do the dirty work of Donald Trump and them Trumpsters who disguising themselves as Democrats. Yeah, I'm in one of them moods tonight, ladies.
what is that, Landon?
Here, since we were
that's
on
the
the
FOIA
subject, I was
request.
putting up the FOIA request from AC Dumas to Davina.
Okay.
What does it say? We can't see it.
This FOIA request is made under the authority of the state of Michigan's Open Meetings Freedom of Information Act. I'm requesting the complaint letter or email that was filed in the Flint City Clerk Davina Donahue with respect to AC Dumas residency as a bona fide registered voter or registrant of the 3rd Ward of the City of Flint by Judy Presley. Hold on, I got another one that looks a little. Let's go to this one. Hold on.
AC say he bona fide. Nah. He's a bona fide resident.
AC had his suit on when he was writing that too. Hold on. Let me.
Nah.
All right, this one right here. This says, complaint filed residency. Clerk Davina Donahue, it has been brought to my attention that Judy Presley, the City of Flint councilperson of the 4th Ward, has filed a complaint with you regarding my voting residency of the City of Flint 3rd Ward. For the record, I have been a registered voter in the 3rd Ward located in the City of Flint at address blah, 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 48505 for decades. Your office and the Genesee County Clerk's office have on file my affidavit of identity and receipt as required by state law, which determines if an individual is qualified to seek public office in the district/ward where they reside. I look forward to you following city ordinances, the charter, and state law regarding challenges of a candidate's qualifications to seek elective office. Please be advised that I have forwarded this email to my attorneys, making them aware of the complaint filed by the 4th Ward City Council person. After your investigation, if any is completed and you find that I'm in compliance with the state of Michigan, the City of Flint law, and the complaint was politically motivated, I hope you will be filing a criminal complaint against Judy Priestley for filing a affidavit and complaint against me. If you fail to do so, I will have conversations with my attorneys regarding you and Judy Presley's of what's my next step. Sincerely, AC Dumas.
Sue her for slander. Sue her for that kitchen. That's right, AC. Because let me tell you what.
They know Mr. Doom is not the one or the two.
Nah,
right.
One quick second for AC. Hold up, not that one. Here we go.
That's right. That's right, AC Dumas.
Yeah.
Tell him.
Now,
Get 'em, Ace.
let me ex-
Get 'em.
let me
Get 'em,
explain
Ace.
what's going on here, okay? The first election, they said it was canceled because Quincy died, even though Quincy had already been recalled and Quincy's name was on the ballot. So really, Quincy was just a candidate that had passed during election, okay? But they read their old shift sham shenanigans and messed that up. Then Beverly Biggs was appointed and they refused to give her the seat. Now they've had another election and AC Dumas is being targeted and Bev's car has been shot up. This local leadership has everything to do with this criminal behavior, including tearing up my signs and burning down Rose Maro's headquarters, possibly. Okay? But then we don't quite.
Allegedly, girl.
Right.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, that's right. That's right. Because you never know when people split the votes, being writing is maybe they trying to get. I don't know. I'm just saying it's always some criminality surrounding this local government. Okay, these people are criminals and they thieves,
Right.
and they're fighting so hard because they're trying to get those ARPA dollars that they've allocated to their nonprofits. They trying to get the rest of their money, honey. That's all this about is that bread. They don't care nothing about you. And I heard the mayor say this is about power. I think, yes, it's about power only because they can't get the money without the power. Because
It's
these
about
people,
power and money. That's what it's about.
right,
Power and money.
money and power. Money, I would say the money first, because if they were
Well, they go
interested in the
hand in
power,
hand.
well, if they were interested in the power, they learn how to navigate the process. Long Shelton been
They
in
don't
local
have
government.
to.
He don't know diddly squat about not. He can't even get funded over there at the Hasselbring. He's so used to being
So,
corrupt and criminal.
you made me think about something. So where, they
Where he
trying to
getting the
get this
funding?
unbalanced budget passed. An unbalanced budget. Where's the money for the Mays Center? Where's the money for McKinley? Where is that coming from? I mean,
Out the
what
stove
is?
pot, out the hot pocket pot.
Oh, okay.
Guarantee you somebody, some program or something that's needed is gonna get clipped. Or
They probably taking the money
run
from the
that place.
ombudsman. They probably,
They
because
gonna
the
run that
ombudsman get a nice budget, so they done fired the ombudsman, so they probably stealing all that money.
Well, I have a question because I want to know about the opioid money too. Remember that, Jamaica? I mean, what were some of the things? There were some
probably in
things you
there
had
too.
put in, right, and there were some things you had put in place that are no longer there. I know that.
Yep, we had a project that actually provided stipends for residents to go and collect information and have some of those conversations about what recovery looks like. That program is no longer there. We were working on getting the faucet fixture program back up and running. That's no longer happening. We worked closely with at the time, the new ombuds person, because we were trying to make sure that when the issue was water crisis related, and there was a way that we can work through it with the residents to make sure that they had what they need. I don't know what's happening with that, because
Now,
without,
was that Miss Tanae Dorsey?
I worked really close with her. Yep.
Okay, I like her.
Additionally, even following my time working for the city of Flint, I was on a charter required committee called the Human Relations Commission. And then what happened was I moved from the 5th Ward to the 7th Ward, and Miss Speed's time had expired on that commission, as well as who else's time? Somebody else's time had expired. And so we were struggling with the commission was struggling with the quorum, and then it just went away. So there are so many things that were happening that were all centered around recovery. that's just not happening anymore.
hmm And I also wanted to say this too, because Mayor, you spoke on something. You said that the gentleman from the water situation or whatever, that we haven't met the requirements, and he's saying that we've met all the requirements. I also want to ask that we consider this issue too. Maybe we have met the requirements because under the Trump administration, he is changing laws of protection. Okay. Not just in the infrastructure situation. He's completely darn near done away with that because he too is trying to steal all the money that was allocated by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris and President Joe Biden has set money aside for these programs, federal dollars, and he is trying to lace his pockets with those dollars, including Social Security, because he is broke. The man was broke. He's stealing. And so, yes, he's cutting health and safety regulations for factories and different things like that. All those safety precautions for laborers are being cut. Food administration regulations are being cut. So your water supply regulations or however that works is probably being cut too, because he's fired everybody that enforces these rules. Number one. So, we messed up. We in the catch-22 here.
We've been in a catch-22 because the people that were in before him, nobody has been speaking up for us, whatever side of the aisle they've been on. We haven't had anybody speaking up as far as when you look at a mayor, when you look at a state rep, when you look at a state senator, when you look at a governor, when you look at who's been down there in Washington. People haven't been speaking up for the city of Flint. Since we've been gone. They've wanted this water crisis to be gone before it started. They wanted to sweep it under the rug. That's why there was this cover up. And that's why they will get anybody and everybody out of there that wants to do the right thing. That's why they were, silencing Eric Mays' voice. That's why they were silencing Tanya Burns' voice, because they knew that they were speaking up and speaking out and standing up for the people about what's right. Jerry Winfrey Carter's been putting her stuff on paper, letting them know how she feels, because anybody that's trying to speak up for us and fight for us, they shut them down. They just get shut down.
And that's because they drugged me relentlessly when I was on the school board trying to do something for them babies. They made sure them $15 million went back to the federal government too, didn't they? But anyway, I also want to say this. If you are interested in knowing where your water crisis dollars are, I urge you to go to the corner of Lavelle Road and Beecher Road. That's where Miss Attorney Trishelle Young's office is, that she recently opened. She was handling the water crisis for the residents. So if there are any questions or any answers to be had, I don't see how she wouldn't know them. She was supposed to be one of the attorneys representing us. So maybe you should head over to her office, Young and Young, on Lavelle Road and Beecher Road, and ask them where your water crisis.
Maybe she'll be at the meeting tomorrow at Christ Fellowship. You never know.
But if she's not, maybe
she
she'll
might
be at the office.
She might be at the office. She might be at the
she's
church.
also on your ethics and accountability board. So go to your ethics and accountability board meeting and ask her, where is your water crisis money? And how come you fired the ombudsperson and hasn't hired another one? And then how come you didn't hire the attorney that was over there at the Flint Community School District getting paid $500,000 and losing a year between $200,000 to $600,000 and all this a year? I think it got allegedly up to $800,000 and has never won a case. Why would she go hire him? Oh, let me guess, because he know how to get that paper and don't do a lot of work to get it. Maybe that's it. I don't know, allegedly. But I know they should.
I was going to say, and there's also a committee meeting Wednesday, city council meeting that people need to, try to attend. I've been listening online, but there's a city council meeting, committee meeting this Wednesday. So
yeah. And go ask Julie Priestley and Liddell and them where your money at. Why you always attacking Jerry Winfrey Carter and Tanya Burns and want them to come up with your water crisis money? They don't have your money. They were, a matter of fact, were they even on city council when that took place? but your mayor was. Why you not down at his office asking about your money? He was on the city council when it took place. He claims he knows who's responsible for the water crisis. So go ask him and Trishelle Young,
Well,
who
when
he
you are
appointed
part of it,
to the ethics
when you're
board.
part of creating it, you should know who's responsible because
That's
he's
right.
one of those hands that helped create the water
So
crisis. Because
he know exactly who did it, don't he?
exactly, that's
And he
absolutely right.
benefited from, and he's been benefiting from it every step of the
Ever
way. Okay.
since, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what's happening again tomorrow at Christ Fellowship?
There's a meeting at 6 o'clock. The attorneys will be there. These are attorneys out of DC. There's the flyer. It's open to the public, so people really need to come and hear what they have to say. Because if we don't, we need to be able to hold people accountable. We really do. So that's tomorrow evening. And then Tanya's coming on tomorrow at 8. So she's going to have some of this information that we kind of went through. She's going to go into more detail about some of these things, especially when we're talking about that, the consent agreement and what has not been met. She was talking about these 27 projects, and 17 of them have not been completed. 5 or 20 to 90% completed. So for them to say that everything is, fine and dandy is just not true. That is absolutely wrong.
And that brings me to this. Also, the lawsuit concerning the Mitchell boys, the two young
Oh yeah,
boys who died in the
exactly.
fire, $60 million. That's what the city is on the hook for. We only took in $64 million, and the mayor's new budget is estimated at $68 million. And did they ever get the information for last year concerning the budget when their CFO over finances couldn't answer several basic questions as it pertained to the budget? So how are you having a budget for 68 million when you only took in 64 million, and then you about to get sued for 60 million of that? And your mayor has to come to court and answer questions and go under he has to go under deposition because he thought he wasn't gonna have to answer no questions, but he got his face cracked, and they're telling him he has to be in court and answer questions about those two young boys losing their lives, and rightfully so. So I'm looking
Well,
forward to that.
me too. And I'm also I know I still want to know, do we have a DPW? I'm just asking, do we have a DPW? How do we have these issues with water and we don't have a DPW? But anyway.
Well, it just appears that the mayor
I know
can't keep staff at all. Everybody that's competent seems like they have come through and have quit. They don't want to work with that administration. This administration just lies habitually. And, I just can't wait till the August election. I don't live in
can't
the
either.
I sure do want to campaign over there. I tell you that.
Right. I
Jamaica,
might
were
have
you
to get out
saying
there and knock
wait?
some dogs.
Now,
Let me ask you
Tanya
this.
Burns is in the comments saying we have a DPW manager.
Oh, okay.
A DPW manager.
Is that Mr. I'm sorry, can I ask?
Wait,
is that Mr. Moore that came from Detroit?
Is that Clyde? Is that Clyde Edwards?
I didn't ask for a manager.
Jamaican Clyde got about 5 jobs.
We don't want to ask, do we
director?
Right. Do we have a director?
Let me ask y'all this. Don't Candace Mouchette work with water, and she done got her ASS up there and voted and said our water was good, and she know good and well we haven't met the criteria and the standard that was implemented and stated that we had to follow in order to get back to having safe drinking water for the public. We haven't met all those responsibilities and requirements. She got up there and voted like that.
So boldly, I can say that she wants her $300,000. She doesn't care about the community as it relates to testing and information. She's the most silent person about water on the city council, and that's how she makes a living.
Let me tell you something. This girl is looking to get over $250,000 off your back. She don't care nothing about you. Okay, she'll poison you and your young and your next 15 generations. And she ain't the only one. She got 3 more people riding with her getting paid. Leon then received over $1 million of your his little maid institute that Laura McIntyre that sits on the Flint Community School Board is a board member of. Allegedly, maybe she quit, but she was on there when he set this up. Anyway, whatever he got that money for, that little building on Detroit Street in Flint Park, he ain't put a shingle, a nail, or nothing in there. What are you doing with all that money?
Well, and
Is-
to also bring up another thing, lots of people say that people should take all of these incidents to court. You maybe can get enough money to go to court, but then the judges are not in favor of the community or they recuse themselves, but they want to be elected next time. You know, it's like we can't use the state police, we can't use the governor, we can't, and she won't even recognize her own lieutenant governor.
Well, I'm going to say this about that. And I know I might get some backlash or some flack, but I don't care that she won't use him. She's already used him. He saw that she wasn't doing nothing for our community. He saw that she had lied to Flint and didn't make good on her promise. And he rode with it, ran around, grinning like he was slow, getting the black vote for her. And now he's all pimped out and used up. And now she's throwing him aside. And guess what? He could never get my vote. Okay? Ever. So I don't blame her because he ain't gonna win. Dugan is my man. They got new roofs and windows down in Detroit. They getting what they supposed to have. I'm going for Dugan. He's progressive and he's not a thief. He's a businessman. He know how to get paper. He ain't got to pimp out the
Well,
community.
I know we have a lot of elections coming up, and people better pay attention. You better listen carefully, closely, know who has your back, who will have your voice, who will be out there speaking up and fighting for you. I know we have a chance to make some changes coming up in the very near future. We have this election in August. We're going to find out about some stuff, whether it's true or not true tomorrow at Christ Fellowship. So we can't keep getting bamboozled. I don't know. Anything else for the good of the cause?
Mayor,
Yes.
before you left out, I did want to go over the show lineup for the next few days. I just
Well,
wanted to
go over it.
before before everybody got to their final comments. I just wanted everybody, like they said, come out tomorrow. That's Christ Fellowship. That'll be at 6 o'clock tomorrow. That's 317 East Hamilton Avenue, Flint, Michigan. Tomorrow night we do have, starting at 11, we have Tanya Burns and Friends with Sheena B. That will be at 8 o'clock. So y'all make sure y'all tune into that. And then also on Thursday this week, we have Real Talk with Karen Weaver, and she does an interview with Nick Gardner. That's the owner of Ebony Gemstone Company in the Flint Farmers Market. So y'all make sure to tune into that. And then next week, with the same show lineup, we will have Henny in the Morning coming back on Wednesday. Tune in to all of that. Appreciate it.
Yes.
And also
I can't wait to
Fridays,
see. There you go,
tune
Carol.
in. And also on Fridays, can you please tune in to 1420 a.m. for a community conversation with your host, Carol. Thank you.
Fridays on 1420. At what time, Carol?
At 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. You all hear that?
Yes, we did. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Any closing remarks before we go, ladies?
Thank you all for having me.
Oh, Jamaica, it
Thank
was
you
so
for
good
coming.
Good to have you, Jamaica.
I agree.
And congratulations again on the recent nuptials.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations.
Well, it's no wonder you got time to talk to us. You still honeymooning.
Jamaica, you looked amazing too. You were glowing and everything, girl.
Thank you.
She was, wasn't she?
Yeah,
Out there
she
on
was.
that beach. Out there
I
on the
know.
beach. Oh, I know. I do have an announcement. Landon, can you put this up? Because, we started off talking about what resiliency looks like, what recovery looks like. May is Mental Health Month. And one of the things I'm always talking about is protecting your mental health. So I wanted to just put that up. We need to break the stigma. We need to not be afraid to get help if we need help, you know, because this is just so important. And with everything that's going on in Flint, we really have to be conscious of where we are with our mental and emotional health. So let's break the
Yes.
stigma about mental health. If you need help, get it. You go get it if you broke your leg. You go get it for high blood pressure. You go get it if you're
Yes.
diabetic. And so we need to stop treating mental illness the way we do, because it is part of our physical health. So let's embrace it and let's
And
break the
because
stigma.
And also because of this, when you're going through things like that, depression, whatever your issue may be, loneliness or grieving, you always feel like you're so alone. And then when you get out there and tell your story or just talk to one other person, you realize it's a whole community of people who are
Right,
struggling just like you. And they're coming up with solutions to get through days, hard days, every day,
right,
you know, and there's a whole community of people that are there to support people that are in that situation. So it's all about catching up with your crowd, not being afraid to admit that you need help. That is how you start to get the help that you need, admit that you
that's
need it.
right.
So
Yep, that's how you heal. That's how you
yes,
heal. So we just want to lift that up and remember that May is Mental Health Awareness. Thank you all for staying up late with us this Monday night. It's been fun. Jamaica, I know you got to go to work in the
Yes,
morning. I know you do too,
bright and
Stephanie, but we
early.
sure appreciate you. Liz, Taylor, Carol, we'll be back.
yes,
We'll be back.
yes,
We'll be clutching our pearls.
absolutely.
Good
We'll
night,
see you
ladies.
tomorrow.
Good night.
Okay.
Good night.
Have a
Sleep
good
good.
one.
Good night.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi, Jamaica.